What up, guys? It's Ryan here. It is Monday, January 27th, 2020. It's 2 minutes into the U.S. session, and it's looking like it's going to go long. So we are going to look for some confirmation off of the Globex, and we're going to be looking for probably a 30 to 42 or higher confirmation, and it looks like we're not going to want to miss this train. So we are going to put in a contract long, and let's go ahead and just look at the shit show that occurred here, um, between the 23rd and the 24th, which was just insane. This thing dropped like crazy. We actually, if you saw the last video, we made money right in here. I mean, we could have held this thing and made a lot more money. We could have scaled in, but that's not really how I like to trade. And it looks like we did not get our fill. That's great. Um, could be the internet again. Let's see if we get filled this time. And once we get filled high here, actually, what I'm gonna do is, first off, we're not gonna draw lines. We are gonna bring this chart up. There's our fill finally, thank goodness. Let's stretch out our chart, and you can see we've already opened up the first direction. Now we're on the second direction. It's looking pretty likely that it's gonna go long, but all right, I will show you guys. Let's actually watch the price for a second here. Oh, okay. It was my internet. Good lord. Um, Now, if this fully tanks out here, and we end up back at these levels, the next level that we would want to get in at is going to be all. It might sound boring, guys, but all the way down below 3230 is where we would want to put our entries low, and we would want to go probably like literally here, guys. 32, 32.50 below the breakout level, below the psych level 32.33. You could even go a little further. You could even go to 32.31.75 if you definitely want to make sure that it's falling before you get in low. So we can go ahead and do that. Shift click apparently not working today. So we have our two long. That's our current position. And should the whole market drop through this low, we are going to go ahead and get filled on the breakout low. And it will be interesting to see. And as you can see on the Globex, let's go to the 5-day. This has been a shit show. We've been down a lot. And let's actually make it more interesting. 180-day. Look at this. That's huge. That could indicate that we are heading into a bear market if it dips down much lower than this. Because if you look at your bottom to your bottom, and we'll do a top to a top. You can see, guys, on the 180-day chart, if we go much lower here, we're going to be in some trouble. But my guess, this is just an educated guess, is that since we have been so consistently heading upward, we're going to end up doing, pretty well on a recovery here. So I'm going to go ahead and hold this trade. And the volatility is certainly there today. It is roaring, guys. But I think what we might want to do, because it's so crazy, is possibly move these entries down. I think we might want to bring these down even further to like 32.29, because the last thing we want to do is have our trade reverse and then pop back up off of 32.30. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to move this down to 32.2875. I'm going to go ahead and continue the video in a moment, guys. Be right back. Hey guys, sorry about that. I had to go make some coffee real quick and kind of let this trade flutter, which I know it's going to do. But what it looks like, guys, is that we're probably just going to see a recovery. This is a good chance to look at, not necessarily the intraday, but the 180-day chart. And, really from, September on, we've been in this huge upward trend. And where we kind of touched is like, a place that we haven't touched as far as low dips against the trend more than 5 times since September. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And this particular dip, with its gap, and how sharply it started to go down, and we made money on this trade. I mean, you saw it on the last video, but we could have done a lot better had we done scale-ins. And the thing was, we were short, and overall we're on an upward trend. So really, if you go short, you don't know until after the fact, like, oh, I should have held that entire 30-point trade. Well, as long as you're happy with the P&L that you're making for the day or the points, there's really nothing to be worried about. But yeah, I mean, it looks like it's probably going to start going up here. If I had to guess, this definitely looks like a bottom, and this is going to, continue somewhere along this midpoint. And, as you can see, it looks like, we're in the right direction being long here. Now, on the intraday, we did this little dip, and it looks like we started at around 32.37. We went down to 32.33, so like, 4 points, and now we've already gone up more than 10 points. So, it's looking like the momentum is bullish, and let's just hang on to this sucker. I'm going to keep taking a look at it here. Go grab a snus in a second and clear the cobwebs, because I rushed my ass out of bed. And that's just what I do. I like to stay up late, watch TV with my girlfriend, and then I hear that alarm go off, and I gotta just run for the hills. So that's the way it is. And just keep an eye on the chart. But I like to keep up different time frames, because that really does help. As I step back to my desk. It really does help. Now, if you look at the intraday, which is what we're actually trading, we know on the 180-day we're heading upward. If we look at the intraday, let's actually zoom out. You can see during the Globex session, high to low. It just kind of like floated low. But it moved a pretty good amount. I mean, shit, even if you were one contract short, you made like a ton of money, like 30 points or whatever. I'm no math whiz, but I know how to read a chart. So, we had a continuation of this downtrend. And then as soon as the U.S. market opened, everyone was like, oh, yeah, well, it's been down during the Globex. All right, sell, sell, sell. Let me stretch this out. Well, I guess that didn't work out too well for the people who sold because they probably got stopped out somewhere around this area here where this square is. And that's unfortunate, but that's the way the cookie crumbles, and we'll just zoom back out. Looks like our auto zoom is working. Thank you, TD. I do think TD has the best charts. Just a random thought there. I don't necessarily think they're the best broker. I'd say AMP is probably the best broker. They have lower commissions, and I am not endorsed by either. In fact, I pay them. So that's pretty much the view we want to have is our low, floating upward. I mean, who knows how much money we're going to make on this trade. It's actually kind of crazy. And a lot of times, guys, it feels like free money, but don't let it get to your head. And what you will realize, and I'm going to just tell you this straight up before it happens, is that here's our entry 32 30 or 20 sorry guys 32 44 25, and we're making a ton of money right here. Today we're going to try to hold on for a little bit longer because we're in such a big correction zone, and if the market were to drop further, it would literally turn the table of the 180-day chart. So the probability of a correction moving upward, like maybe to like 3280, is pretty high. So we're probably going to want to hold on today, but I just want to get back to the point. It can quickly dip back down to your entry. So you don't always want to move your stop to your entry unless that's the type of trader you are, to where you just want to take multiple shots at entries, wait for it to go, and then put your stop to even. If you're that kind of trader, that's good risk management. And really the ultimate goal is to let it float that far. Now, for instance, I just want to show you, we can cancel these two orders. We can put our stop to even and be responsible. No problem. I don't know why we're not auto sending. Sorry, guys. We can put our stops to even, no problem. But we better watch this trade. If our stops are right here at the bottom of this most recent low, if we're looking at the waves of the heartbeat of the market, you better be aware that this price is probably going to touch this, and you could get stopped out. But the thing is, if your stop is hovering all the way down here at 32.39, or even all the way down here, you're talking a macro reversal in order for you to get stopped out on that trade. And otherwise, if you leave the price starts heading down, which it is now. Huge sell coming in. You can see it. Let's just observe for a second. Kroger doesn't make bad coffee, I guess. It's like five bucks for a huge tub of it. They only charge $1 something or other for their huge thing of creamer. Not bad. So here we go, guys. This is like exactly what I was just talking about. We're going to stay in this trade. We're not going to close it at 500 or, I really think that there is movement to be made on this trade because of this dip. But the thing is, with the point that I want to make on this video, is that with the stop at even, you're more likely to get stopped out. If you're playing with the trends, it's okay to use a wider stop. But if the market starts demonstrating behavior that makes you uneasy about the direction that you're trading in, obviously you would want to close the trade. But look, in this case, I guarantee we're going to have a problem here. Let's see. I mean, are we really going to break right out? Let's see. See how we've hit this tip right here? 32, 52, 25 really. And it's going to keep, well, now we have a breakout. If we get up to like here, it's confirmation. And if we keep going up and up and up, we're going to add a contract. But let's see what happens here, guys. Sorry, that's a little too zoomed in. I don't want to get too excited over here. Alright, so let's focus now on intraday. We already know that the market appears to be in a correction on the 180 day. We've already established that. And we're going to just zoom this chart out. We're going to just focus on the intraday. Coming from the Globex session, we were definitely in a downtrend. Now in our session, we're going to go ahead and draw our normal lines like we always do. What I'm going to do is I am going to draw from the previous Globex just because of this gap. And I'm going to go from top to our current top. And this is pretty much for trending, for trend plays, this is how I pretty much always trade. And from the first bottom of our session to the most recent bottom. Now, when you look at the angle of this trend, it's indicating that there is going to be a convergence, and that convergence could happen around this level, 3260, but it could also sharpen up the angle, and it could further that trajectory. And if we get a trajectory, you know, something, I'm just going to draw two lines. If we get a trajectory that's kind of more like this, that's when we might start looking into scaling into the trade. I like to look at the angular trajectory because I am a technical trader. I don't give a fuck about news. News can shake the market, and it will shake the market. I am cognizant of news. I'm not ignorant to news because it will cause a technical trader to lose their day of trading for sure. But technical analysis, at the end of the day, is how you make the money. Without technicals, you know, you're not making the money. And get rid of my fucking drawings, please. Thank you. And we're just going to hold on to this trade. And you can see that we won't continue these trend lines. We're going to see if we break down out of this trend. And it looks like we might. Now, you know, if we're going to have to hit a couple levels. Let's zoom in a little bit here. Before we are to get worried about anything, we're going to need to see some levels be broken. We're going to probably need to see 32.45 be broken. But look at the buying coming in on these dips. These bulls are saving us from these big sells. And you have these bears coming in shorting every one of these peaks. Now, if this becomes a theme, and then we start going sideways, and let's just pull her up again. Sorry to have to do this all the time, but if we start going sideways instead of this upward trend, like look, even if I shrink the chart, you know, we're still going real upward. But I like to keep the low in focus and then, you know, do it like that. So obviously we can change the angle of our trajectories here, but let's just keep it nice and look at the whole, you know, thing, kit and caboodle. If we start to go to where these waves are completely sideways, or kind of like hinting that that's really going to be the top, that's when I would usually go, okay, let's close the trade. Or if we start to break these trend lines, and I would go by like the most recent trend lines. So let's remove these. Like I would go by, if we see shorts coming in here, shorts coming in here, and then we see a short coming in here and it goes a little lower to like below 32.50, that would indicate a little bit of a problem. And if we don't pop back up past 32.50, big psychological round whole number, and we start falling down toward like 33.45, that's like almost our entry. That's where, you know, I would either just let us get stopped out at even, or, you know, just call it a, you know, close the trade before that happens, and then potentially reload the trade at profit. But today our goal is going to be to try to hold our trade. But it does look like the market, guys, as you can see, is starting to get a little wonky. It was going upward. Now it's starting to go a little sideways. And if we start really flirting with like 32, if we go below 32.50, we're going to have to watch what happens. If we get to 32.48, we're probably going to stop the trade out. And we would do that manually. We do that by feel. We don't want to put a hard stop. We want to kind of look at the market. If it gets a little below where we might want to stop for profits, that's okay. But we're looking at, it's getting a little wonky at this point. And you can see, guys, these sells are coming huge. Every time we get around like this level to this level, we're getting big sells. We're going to go ahead and get ready to close the trade. If we're falling through floors here, we're falling. We're closing the trade. That's discipline, guys. 475. Looks like the market's going to continue to go downward. I don't trust it. Here's why. I wanted to hold the trade through the dip, but it doesn't look like it's a dip. It looks like it's now going to go down. We got out. We left some money on the table, but as you can see, guys, we jumped off of a sinking ship because if you look, let's show you a couple things. Let's go from the bottom. Let's go to the previous bottom here. And let's go to the original Globex top. We broke well low of what would be considered safe by this trend. And it now looks, to me, I could be wrong. I could be wrong. This could be the world's biggest fake out. But to me, when you start to see these nice grinds up and then you see a pop down, but it's still higher, and then you see a pop down that breaks low, that indicates the start, to me, in my eyes, just me. You know, I'm not fucking Warren Buffett, but to me that indicates the start of a downtrend. And I'm trying to pull this up for you guys in a really nice way so you can see the whole thing happen. Let's zoom in a little bit. To me, this shows a breakout low, and in fact it is. We are below all of these trends. Now, this could be a huge fake out. We could reload the trade, but as far as the open, that's looking like a pretty risky trade. We could reload it, but we would want to have a correction back to this trend level, hit back up to right around 32.53, and then see what the market does there. But as far as the open, that's pretty much it, guys. I will keep the video rolling for another couple minutes here. Take a sip of coffee, and let's just confirm that we're heading into a downtrend. We were in that trade for like, I came in a little late today to the office. We were in that one for like a half hour. Seeing a lot of buying coming in, but as quick as that buying comes in, I think it's going to get shorted. Let's see. I could be completely wrong. Here's what we can do here, guys. I'm going to keep this video rolling for a minute. Alright, let's zoom out. Let's say that we want to correct back up to these levels at 32.33, 32.37.50 that we were at previously. What we can do is enter with limit orders above huge numbers. And we could do it at a breakout here, but I don't trust that. I would probably want to do it I don't know if I trust it, guys. Because in our Globex session, we were above these levels. We're going to have to see. Let's see how the market behaves. But what I was going to say is we can enter a limit order high and let it go through our entry. The problem is we're dipped down really low. A lot of points. Tons of points. I mean, it started at 32.69, chopped around, and then ended up at 32.33. Technically, we're moving down. But again, on this 180-day chart, I mean, shit, we would have to touch 3,200 sub for it to be truly a downtrend. So what we would do in this scenario is kind of wait and observe the market. But what we can do is we can observe by stretching our chart out a little bit. We can just stretch it out to where we had it. Top to top. We can go from the first bottom here to the bottom. You can see that instead of our upward trend that we were enjoying, we're now, we were in this trend when we made this amount of money and made those points, and now we're in what looks to be a downward trend. And you have to let these trends play out. So that's going to be the video for today, guys. It's a 20-minute video. I'm not going to get too crazy. What I'm guessing is going to happen is that the same thing as Friday. We're probably going to shoot back up into this mid-range here, somewhere, in this 32.20 range. I'm sorry, 33.37 range. And that's probably what's going to happen. It could end up blasting through. But as for now, we're stuck in this particular range and in this downtrend. And I'm not really interested in reversing after we just made money long. I just don't want to do that because we made money long. The pressure and the momentum was long, so I don't really have an interest in going short. I think this is probably a dip, but it could be a pretty big dip. It could go all the way down to here. And we made our money for the day, so really, guys, we don't want to have FOMO. We don't want to just sit here and trade the market all day long because you will lose some trades. It's best to trade right off the bell when the volatility is high, and then once it starts to kind of swirl around after that first move, chances are you're not going to do as well. So just one more time, let's remove this drawing, We are now looking at kind of a top to a top, and we're kind of looking at a bottom to a bottom. We're looking at this cone trajectory without a convergence point, and it could break through if it got to about 32.53. If it breaks 32.50 again, it's probably going to go up, but it could just teeter around at 32.50. The market tends to do this. It just hits these whole numbers, and it'll start going down and up and down and up. If it does that, I may do another video to show you how to trade sideways algos. There's a two-pronged strategy that I use for that, short and long. And it's a scalp strategy. You don't make a ton of money, but you can still make money. So, guys, that's the video for today. $475 in just over, or I would say just under a half hour. I am going to start putting some contact info in future videos if you guys need to be shown how to trade. I haven't figured out. I originally wasn't going to do training, but I've been getting some feedback on the videos. I can show you guys how to trade. I got to talk to the SEC and see if I'm able to kind of prop trade and help other customers by trading on their account, whether it's sim or live or whatever. But really, guys, you just want to go for points at first. So if you want to trade the micros, that's a good way to get started. What I would recommend, I'm just going to leave you guys with a knowledge nugget here. At the end of the day, you're trading for points. You're not trading for profit. So what you would want to do if you're a new trader, and I can show you how to do this once I figure out whatever way I want to set up my training, is just start you on like an E-Trade account with micros or an AMP account. They charge less commission, so that may be the best bet. E-Trade's going to be your easiest, because they have their app and all that stuff. But you want to just be able to do what I just did on one micro, consistently make a couple points every day, and then just increase your size with that same strategy. There's no need to trade on a micro and go, oh, I need to make $100 a day. If you think about terms of dollars instead of points, that's going to hurt you and your mentality. And then the other thing is you just can't have the attachment to the money. You need to trade it as if it's a video game, not money. You have to just trade it based on points. You're going for points like a basketball game, like a baseball game. You're not playing for your salary. It's not whoever has the highest salary wins the baseball game. It's, whoever gets the most points. And it's the same way in the stock market. As you can see, I'm just going to draw one more trend line down. We're heading in a pretty decent downtrend now, guys. We got out of that trade, as you could see. Like, I knew that it was probably time to cut that trade as soon as we saw those shorts coming in. We left some money on the table, but hey, who knows how low this is going to dip? We have no idea. I am going to check out news to see, what's going on. As far as news, I just wanted to give a shout out to Kobe Bryant and his family. I am actually from Pennsylvania, Bucks County, and he's our local kind of legend. He went to Lower Merion. I went to a rival school called Neshaminy, and just shouts out to him and his family. And everybody's thinking about Kobe, and he was definitely an example of if you take a craft and you master it, and then you keep your humbleness about yourself. The joy that you can spread to others. So shout out to Kobe, and it's really really upsetting. As far as trade news goes, I'm not aware of much crazy trade news other than the impeachment that may cause the markets to fluctuate. I don't think Trump's doing a lot of tweeting right now that's going to affect the stock market. I think he's kind of calmed down for the impeachment. So guys, that's going to be the video for today. Stay safe out there. Tell somebody that you love them today, and just prayers to Kobe again. And we did our 475, 2 contracts long, and that's the trade for today, guys. So have a great day.